Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Whether you're here in this room, having come through all that traffic, or whether you're with us on Zoom, we are glad you're here. Welcome to our Sunday service at UUSS. I'm Roger Jones, one of the ministers here at UUSS, serving this congregation. Though I was out of town last Sunday, I was happy to be with many of you on Zoom and in the coffee hub after. Our preacher today is my colleague at UUSS, the Reverend Lucy Bunch. Lucy's sermon today is Opening to Joy, which is our Soul Matters theme for this month of December. Also with us, our worship associate, Theo, who has done double duty this morning, rushing over after co-leading the junior high youth group, and now here in the service. Also music director Anthony Tavianini, pianist Irina Tchantceva, and guest musician Don Walker playing the flute. Don, we appreciated the contributions of music by you and your husband when we were on Zoom only, and it's good to have you back and in person. Our service today would not be possible without our technical producers, and we give thanks to Colleen and Ivan in the AV room. Our mission statement says, we come together to deepen our lives and be a force for healing in the world. We invite you to explore all the ways we live out this mission. Our weekly message email comes out at the end of every week, and you can find it and a lot more activities on our website. In addition to learning about this week's programs on our website, you can learn that our senior high youth group will be meeting after the service, that our Soul Kids for elementary age children meets before church on Zoom every Sunday. You will learn that we will be having dinner together at the church on Christmas Day. The food will be served inside, and it's likely that we'll eat under the patio cover outside. Please sign up with Lori Jones. She'll be here next Sunday on the patio, or you can email her at the address appearing in the chat. You may have read we're collecting winter welcome kits for newly arrived refugees in this area in conjunction with our partners at International Rescue Committee. And the last day to drop off a winter kit or a donation for the purchase of winter kits is next Sunday, the 12th of December. You can visit the refugee support table. You can't miss it because it's got all the winter kits on it after the service, and you can check the website too. We want to invite all of you to a number of holiday happenings and opportunities coming up at UUSS, including an open house, which Reverend Lucy and I will be hosting, and that will be here in the Welcome Hall and on the patio. That will be a week from this Wednesday. To learn more about it, as well as about our Christmas Eve service and other things, please watch for the Holiday Happenings email bulletin, which is coming out tomorrow or Tuesday. If you're new to UUSS, we're glad you're here. Please fill out a newcomer's card so we can send you some information about us. It's at our website at uuss.org/newcomers, and it's here in the church at our welcome table. You can fill out a paper copy. Our greeters will be happy to give you one. And if you are here, we invite you to join us for coffee, tea, lemonade, conversation on the patio, and to visit the adult enrichment table. If you're here on Zoom, please stay with us for the coffee hub. After the service, there will be about 12 minutes of time when you will be invited to reflect on the service topic and to get acquainted. There will be 3 small breakout rooms by the magic of Zoom. And our host for the Zoom Coffee Hub this morning is our member, Steve Hoverman. Again, we are glad you're here. It's a joy to be together. If you're at home, this is the time to get your candle or your chalice ready for the chalice lighting ritual. Next, we have Reverend Lucy.
Good morning. Hey, Zoomers. Good to have you with us. Our chalice lighting words this morning come from Carl Seberg. Let there be joy in our coming together this morning. Let there be truth heard in the words we speak and the songs we sing. Let there be help and healing for our disharmony and despair. Let there be silence for the voice within us and beyond us. Let there be joy in our coming together this morning.
We lift our voices in song to share the spirit of joy. Please stand if you are able and join in singing Morning Has Come.
Let's start over, Irina. Let's start over from the beginning. One more little, here we go.
Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns, once more the gift is given. Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open our eyes to see that life abounds. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of love here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
Thank you. I always love standing next to Anthony when we sing hymns because I feel that I sing so well and sound great. If you know about the marathon traffic, you know that people will be trickling in as they get through here, so welcome and congratulations. And don't forget to turn off your cell phones if you're here. And see if you see a prayer lying around anywhere on a piece of paper.
No?
Okay.
This is all my stuff.
Okay.
Huh.
Wandering around? No? Okay. Well, anyway, welcome. This is the time in our service when we invite you, if you're on Zoom, to share joys and sorrows in the chat and to read one another's joys and sorrows. Lucy and I will receive a list of what is put in the chat later on today. And if you're here, we invite you to sit peacefully and receive the music, or if you have joy or greeting to share with one another, you're welcome to move around gently at this time and do that. Thank you, Irina. I'm sure the paper will show up, but I do have it on the computer, and I didn't want to neglect the joys and sorrows that we have received through the link on our website, which you can send to Lucy and me every week. You can also call the office with a joy or sorrow to be included in the service if you call the office before 5. And on this morning, we extend continued wishes for healing to Richard Carlson after his heart surgery, and our condolences to our member Judy Bell, whose good friend Judith Michaels passed away in her sleep on Tuesday, the 30th of November. They became friends in the 90s after meeting here at the Women's Ritual Group. Judy has gratitude for the joyful times they shared over the years. Our member Connie Buckley is back in the hospital, and we send healing wishes to Connie along with our love. We extend our condolences to our member Tiki Harlow on the recent loss of her dear cousin, Brian Kupka, to the disease of alcoholism. He was a musician, hard-working gas station owner, and a loving father, and he had a gentle soul and a huge heart. In the wake of the passing of American composer and lyricist Stephen Sondheim at age 91, several people have noted our gratitude for his creative contributions to the world of music and theater. And let us extend gratitude for all those whose lives bring joy to our days. Now I invite you to join me for a time of centering in our breath and then to receive words of prayer followed by a hymn. I invite you to breathe in deeply and pause for a moment, and then exhale deeply. We'll do this 3 times. So let's breathe in and pause and exhale. One more time, in and pause. One more time, in and pausing and exhaling deeply. Let us give thanks for the breath of life, lifting our bodies up and out, connecting us to everyone and to every living creature at this moment. And now, as we continue breathing, please receive these words of prayer. O Spirit of life and life's renewal, sustain us on this day and in the days to come. Help us to be grounded in our breathing. Help us to be guided by our shared values, which give us the reassurance of shared community and solidarity. In these times with so much heartbreak and worry, sustain us with courage and compassion. In these times of uncertainty, let us remember all there is which we can be certain about. We can be sure that we are connected to so many people of goodwill and good faith. We can trust that courage can emerge among us when we reach out. We can be sure that we are loved. And let us be sure to remember also that we can be sources of love. To all those in our circles of care and affection, we send our love. And in this season of peace, we pray for peace for all who are suffering, both nearby and around the world. And we seek to act. For the many who are shivering, hungering, or lonely, for those who are longing for liberty or desperate for safety, we lift our prayers for liberation. We pledge to bear witness and to do all that we can to make life better. And we give our thanks for all of those who do their part to make life better by their kindness, generosity, creativity, and hard work. In this season of joy, for the many sources of joy which we can share, let us be grateful. For the unknown yet ordinary joys that are already on their way to us, let us be open and receptive. For every good gift we can name, and for every joy we might list, let us be grateful and let us be joyful today and in the days to come. Blessed be. Amen. And now let us take a few moments of silence together for our personal meditations or private prayers. Blessed be, and amen. We invite you to remain seated as we sing number 86, Blessed Spirit of My Life.
Blessed Spirit of my life, give me strength through stress and strife. Help me live with dignity. Let me know serenity. Fill me with compassion. Clear my mind of fear and confusion. When my thoughts flow restlessly, let peace find a home in me. Spirit of great mystery, hear the still small voice in me. Help me live my wordless creed as I comfort those in need. Fill me with compassion, be the source of my intuition. Then, when life is done for me, let love be my legacy.
Oh no, Roger's inflicted me with the can't find my paper disease. This is a poem by Mary Oliver entitled Mindful. Every day I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It was what I was born for. To look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the drab, the daily presentations. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the oceans shine, the prayers that are made out of grass.
5:45 p.m. on a Wednesday. I'm stuck in traffic. Maybe you've been stuck in traffic here too. On 80 East, right before the Mace Boulevard exit, heading out of Davis over the YOLO bypass. Red lights glare for miles ahead, and it's already mostly dark. When did that happen? Even Devin Yamanaka's cheerful commentary on Cap Radio can't lift my mood. I'm tired. I want to be home right now. Well, actually, I wanted to be home 20 minutes ago. Did I mention I'm tired? And not just the run-of-the-mill, end-of-the-workday tired. No, I'm talking more like month 22 of the pandemic, accelerating climate dread, another school shooting, and someone stole my bike this week tired. I'm feeling weary, jaded, a little disillusioned, maybe burned out. I get home tired and go to bed tired and wake up somehow still a little tired. My morning contains all of its usual elements: coffee, pack a lunch, quick stop to water my vegetable garden, then hit the road. Traffic is blessedly light in the morning as I cross the bypass. Fog still shrouds the wetlands, and the sunrise stretches pink lavender fingers over the rushes and the water. Out to my left, a movement. A small flock of pelicans descends, their great bills silhouetted against the morning light. When they land, they startle the sleepy pintails and cinnamon teals, and suddenly the whole bypass comes awake. Blackbirds swarm overhead, and hundreds of geese and ducks take flight at once, circling and calling to their brethren as they rise. Egrets land in the cottonwoods, while a hawk takes off from the telephone wire, and amidst this swirling chaos, I am very small in my little car. Something like peace stills my heart. It's beautiful. I live in a beautiful place. How lucky am I to share my commute with all of these birds? There are a million small things, like the birds on my commute, that fade into the background of my busy days, like the first sip of coffee, or a brief moment of play with my cat, the mushrooms growing along the footpath to my door, and the crows flying home every day at sunset, the smell of onions and garlic, frying when I start to cook my dinner. Paying attention to these small, everyday, mundane blessings doesn't quite make me less tired, but it does help me find moments of joy that sustain me for the long days to come.
This congregation has a tradition of giving away half of our offering every Sunday morning to support work going on beyond these walls. We choose 12 community partners every year, and our community partner to receive our half of our offering in December is the River City Food Bank. The mission of this organization is to alleviate hunger and to assist clients in Sacramento County by providing emergency food, healthy snacks for children, and referrals to assistance programs so that people might achieve stability and self-sufficiency. They've had for decades a location in Midtown, and a few years ago opened a second site in our neighborhood of Arden Arcade, and the need and the business for that location quadrupled in just a few years. They serve all ages, longtime residents, as well as new immigrant and refugee neighbors. And as we give our shared offering and think about the River City Food Bank, I want us to think about the staff and the volunteers that are giving supports and the sense of purpose that their work gives them, and the sense of joy that the connections that they make possible by just being here and by serving needs. Our offering will now be given and received.
Please remain seated as we sing the offering response. May the spirit of gratitude bless and multiply all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. An excerpt from Brené Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection. Twinkle lights are the perfect metaphor for joy. Joy is not constant. It comes to us in moments, often ordinary moments. Sometimes we miss out on the bursts of joy because we're too busy chasing down extraordinary moments. Other times we're so afraid of the dark that we don't dare let ourselves enjoy the light. A joyful life is not a floodlight of joy. That would eventually become unbearable. I believe a joyful life is made up of joyful moments gracefully strung together by trust, gratitude, inspiration, and faith.
The next reading is a poem of blessing from a book by the late John O'Donoghue, who was an Irish poet, philosopher, and priest. Word definition, an Irish word, currach, is a kind of boat, currach. Blessing. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays in the currach of thought and a stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life.
I'd like to share another poem with you, this one titled For Joy by Jan Richardson. You can prepare, but still, it will come to you by surprise, crossing through your doorway, calling your name in greeting, turning like a child who quickens suddenly within you. It will astonish you how wide your heart will open in welcome for the joy that finds you, so ready and still, so unprepared.
Oh, I'm in flute music bliss over here. Thank you, Dawn. So beautiful, really beautiful. Well, here we are entering our second pandemic holiday season. Joy to the world, huh, and all that. My neighborhood seems to have far more holiday lights than ever, with these enormous inflatable holiday characters. I mean enormous, including the Santa snail around the corner and the Millennial Falcon down the street. The Millennial Falcon has holly on it, so, it's okay, it passes people. One house has so many inflatables that it covers every square inch of the lawn. I applaud their exuberance. However, I have to say, I was a bit put out by the giant joy sign I saw on the edge of the Macy's building during the Thanksgiving Day parade. It was 3 stories high. Joy! Come on. Like a shout, like a command. Be joyful, damn it, and then spend money. I don't know about you, but I can't be joyful on command. In fact, right now, I think it's reasonable to say that for many people, finding joy can be a bit of a stretch. 2020 was hard. There's a lot of jokes about how hard 2020 was, but I'll tell you, 2021 has been harder. We've been at this pandemic a long time, and many people are worn down by the weight of the uncertainty. Many are experiencing burnout, which is another way of saying emotional exhaustion. It's a kind of profound fatigue that comes from caring too much for too long, for living on the edge and managing seemingly endless stress and uncertainty. Burnout can result in losing our ability to empathize. We just don't have the emotional energy to care about things like we did. Burnout can also lead to a decreased sense of accomplishment, feeling like there's nothing you can do that will make a difference. There are many who are burned out: medical professionals, teachers, parents, service workers, clergy. So here we are, the holidays upon us, and many of us are emotionally exhausted. And then there's the signs that shout joy, like it's a switch you can turn on or something that you can just plug into. But ironically, a little joy, I think, might be just what we need right now. Sadly, we've taken in so much and managed so many emotions that maybe our capacity for joy is a little diminished. So this morning, I want to think about how we can let joy in when our receptors are clogged, when our emotional receptors are clogged. How can we find joy when we're too exhausted to keep our eyes open, let alone our hearts? So it turns out I preached on joy last December, almost exactly a year ago from today. And I read through that sermon to remind myself of what I said 1 year ago. It seemed like it was written in another lifetime. Last December, we had been in lockdown for 9 months. Biden had just been elected president, and the vaccine was just on the horizon. My tone was so sweet and optimistic. I felt for my last December self, oh, darling, you just don't know what's in store for you. The Soil Matters team, the group of people that provide us with the Soil Matters materials, they chose the theme, Opening to Joy. I thought that was very clever of them because it shows a knowledge that joy won't come easy to all of us at this time, won't come easy to many of us. So where do we start this opening up to joy? There was another question that I asked last year that I think could be helpful for us to consider today. I asked the question, how does joy come into our lives? Is it a form of grace that just happens upon us? Or can we create the conditions for joy to arise in us? This question came out of a dialogue between Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. I'm sure many of you are familiar with their book, The Book of Joy. Tutu argued that joy arises as a gift of grace, while the Dalai Lama believes that we can train our minds to create the conditions where joy can be received more easily. They both agree that you don't find joy by setting out on a determined path to find it. Joy is not something you earn, but rather something that arises, a gift that you receive. But to receive that gift, to notice and take in joy, we have to prepare ourselves to receive it. We have to be open to it. During the first pandemic summer, I started a practice called centering prayer. It's really helped me to cope with all the uncertainty that we're dealing with. In a centering prayer, you choose a phrase that is inspiring to you or whatever it feels like you need. Choosing the phrase is very important. And then you repeat that phrase in a mantra and allow it to center you. I chose the phrase, Holy Mother, help me find the way. My sense of the divine is a feminine one, and I use the idea of the mother for the interdependent web that holds us all. Holy Mother, help me find the way. Help me find the way through chaos, through uncertainty, through whatever is to come. Holy Mother, help me find the way. This prayer kept me sane, but it didn't keep me from being worn out. It didn't save me from burnout. By August of last year, I was physically and emotionally exhausted from everything. Actually, that's August of this year. I'm getting confused. First switching to a Zoom service, doing 2 services a week, then switching to hybrid services, missing everybody, worrying about the world. It was all too much. So I took my weary self off to my annual UU silent retreat. It's at a beautiful retreat center in Southern California, 5 days of silence. And at this retreat, I had an experience of being startled by joy, woken up. It started on the first full day of the retreat. I was, my exhausted self. Really, I think it's safe to say I was moping, sitting and moping, stuck in negative feelings and fatigue. And I got up, I think it was time for dinner or lunch or something. I got up out of my chair and I looked, and right in front of me was the most amazing spider web struck by the sunlight. It's like it was backlit. I was totally surprised. Where did that come from? What a beautiful thing. And off I go on my day, So the next morning, I'm sitting there having breakfast. I have this one particular spot where I sit and eat my breakfast. And I'm drinking my tea and eating, and this bunny hops up. Now, there are bunnies at this retreat center. I know that there are bunnies. I've seen the bunnies before. And so there's this bunny, and I'm like, oh, there's a bunny. Oh, look, cute little tail. Isn't that a cute bunny? And this bunny just stops there. I'm like, hello? What's your deal, bunny? And just stopped there and like kind of cocked its little tail up in the air like, aren't I just the most adorable bunny you've ever seen? I'm like, well, thank you. What a nice little surprise, bunny. Thank you so much. And off goes the bunny. Woke me up, that little bunny. So then the next night I'm leaving we have this wonderful room. We do jigsaw puzzles, coloring. We have all our workshops in there. And I'm leaving the room. It's at night. Most people are asleep. And I come out of one door, and there at a garbage can, about as far from me as that chalice table is, there's a raccoon on all fours, straddling the can, rustling through the stuff in the can. I freeze. The raccoon hears me. He turns and looks right into my eyes and says, "What are you going to do about it?" I'm looking, I've never have you ever made eye contact with a raccoon? Wow. I felt the energy, the wildness. It was really an intense moment. And I wanted so desperately to tell somebody, but everybody was asleep. So I made a nice little distance around the raccoon, let him have his garbage, and headed off to my room. I'm still in a bit of a stupor. Apparently, a spider web, a bunny, and a raccoon aren't really enough to awaken me to beauty and joy. Not quite enough. So the next morning, I'm coming from breakfast, and I'm leaving the breakfast room, and I'm coming down the stairs, and there in front of me on the stairs is a peacock with full regalia. And I'm like, oh my God, a peacock. I could not believe this peacock. It's like the mother was saying, the Holy Mother was saying to me, what do you need? Here's a peacock on full display. I think peacocks are absurdly beautiful, unnecessarily beautiful. I mean, who needs all those feathers with all those beautiful turquoise eyes on them? Okay, I got it. It took me several days to process this whole experience, and then I just had to laugh. I had to laugh with joy. Holy Mother, help me find the way. Here is the way. Here is the way. The beauty is all around you, waiting to be seen. This is the way to get joy back in your life. She had to send a parade of startling beauty and connection to jolt open my receptors and allow me to open to joy. So if any of this message awakens anything in you, I invite you to consider opening to joy, however it comes, and in whatever degree you're capable. Theo read that wonderful poem by Jan Richardson. The poet says, "It will astonish you how wide your heart will open for the joy that finds you, so ready and still so unprepared." Joy is a gift, but we have to be open to receive it. I like to think of joy as part of a trio that includes surprise and delight. In fact, surprise and delight maybe are gateways to joy. If you're not ready for full-on joy, start with surprise and delight. The poet Richardson says, "You can prepare for it, but it will still come to you by surprise." So I have a new morning ritual that I do now, and it was started because my dog wakes me up at first light because he's ready to play ball. So one of the first things that I do after I've made my tea and I settle in outside, sometimes with a big blanket over me, is I look for the moon. I look for the moon. I know she is there somewhere. But it's amazing how much surprise and delight. Oh, there she is, look. Oh, what a beautiful crescent. I just take that into my body. I see her there in the morning glowing in the sky before the sun has fully come up. The surprise and delight fills me with joy. Such a simple thing, and yet so nurturing. You can't force joy, but you can set up the conditions for it to arise in you. So please don't let your emotional exhaustion keep you stuck and unable to experience joy when it presents itself to you. Joy is an important part of the healing we need right now. And don't let your negative emotions deny you access to joy. That's happened to me recently because something that was holding me back from joy was resentment. The childish self of me just wants things to go back to the way they were, especially when it comes to my choir. We started up again in September after 18 months of no singing. Yay, we're singing! Boo, we're masked, we're outdoors, it's cold, and we're separated, and I can't really hear people. Oh, whine, 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 whine. Then we came inside, that was a little better. We got a little closer, that's a little better. But I'm still not happy about the mask. And the mask was making me unhappy and denying me access to the joy of singing. So last week we were preparing for our concerts. We rehearsed right here. I was standing right over there, preparing for our concerts. We were singing this piece that I love, and I forgot all about the mask. All I knew was the joy in singing, the joy in creating beauty with others. The music opened my heart to joy. If you are tired and struggling this holiday season, I wish for you the ability to open to the gift of joy. It doesn't have to be a giant, forceful shout. Start small, a little dose of joy, of delight. Maybe a Christmas cookie with sprinkles on it that reminds you of one you had as a child, or your favorite Christmas movie or holiday movie. However joy comes to you, let it twinkle on in. Let it open you up. Let surprise and delight be your companions. We have to choose to be open to joy, to prepare ourselves for its arrival, to put ourselves in situations where it will show up, and then allow ourselves to be surprised when it does. This is an important sermon. It's about joy and delight and surprise, but it's an important sermon. Last year when I preached on this topic, I asked the question, how can I be joyful when so many people are suffering? This is the world we live in now. How can we be joyful when so many people are suffering? And we can look to the Dalai Lama for an answer in how he chooses to live his life. He's the spiritual leader of a country that is occupied by an authoritarian government. His people are suffering, and he is far away from them. And he is the most joyful person you can imagine, childlike in his joy and delight. The world does not need more suffering. It needs people who can find joy and let it enliven them. Find joy that can sustain them and make them be ambassadors for caring and change. Joy can be a fuel for transformation, not just for yourself, but for all those that you touch, all those that you encounter. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So my wish for you this holiday season and in all the days to come is that you are able to be open to joy however it comes to you. That joy enlivens and restores you, and that you can bring that joy into the lives of others. John O'Donohue said in his blessing poem, "When your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you. May a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken you in a meadow of delight. So may it be.
As we practice recognizing the small joys in our daily lives, let us live in hope as we rise in body or spirit to sing, "Come and Go With Me." Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound.
And now we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. You bring me joy. Let us extend our hands out in recognition and connection to all those here, all those in Zoom, all those in our beautiful, beautiful world. And may you find joy this week. May it sneak up on you, or may there be a giant peacock in your path, or whatever it takes to open up your heart to go forth into this beautiful, beautiful world. Find joy and offer it to all those in need, all those hurting, all those who need joy in their lives. Blessed be, and amen.